Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Club Pro Chatter Season 4, Episode 6. Today is the Luther Auto Pro Series Day, and Scotty and I are kind of trying something new. Scotty is going to be our producer today. He's got the host computer, and I am in a wedding suite room. So, Scotty, we're getting creative with all this, and we're having a lot of fun, aren't we?
Yeah, we're having a few technical difficulties, but I can tell you my view is way better than yours.
Scotty, do you remember a few years ago when we told Maggie that we couldn't do this without her?
Yes.
We're proving it today that we can't do this stuff without good technical support. We had to call in Kaylee Ekstrom and troubleshoot her through the phone. And Tone does a great job with this, but we're like, Kaylee, this is where we need you. And she got us to where we are finally recording. It's been about 20 minutes.
Yes. We're ready to go. And let's jump right in. What have you got?
I got something good. So, Scotty, something fun happened to you this morning. Tell everybody about your little drive down with one of our former sponsors of the podcast.
Oh, yeah. You heard already, huh?
Well, I kind of want to hear your version.
So we're driving on 494. I'm riding with Casey Vangsness, head pro at Minnewaska Golf Club. Casey's driving, and we're pulling up on this trailer and a truck, and I see Green Image Golfscapes. Like, I wonder if that's my buddy Denny. And I look over and I just give him one of these, like, just stare right at him. And he looks at me, and it takes about a second. And he's like, who is staring me down? And he's like, Scotty. So then I called Denny right after. He goes, where are you going today? I'm like, oh, we got an event at the Wilds. And you know what? We actually have a podcast as well. And we'll probably talk about this. He's working in a project just right there, right off 494 and 62. So he said he's been very busy, hasn't been playing a ton of golf. And so that was just happenstance to see Denny this morning.
I'm surprised you could see him over the steering wheel there.
Yeah, at first I'm like, is this Denny? Is it not? And then I saw his face, smiling at me. Yep, that's him.
Yeah, he called me right away. He was pretty pumped about it. He's going over to do a project with Ernie Rose. And he's building a green over there. You remember that name, Scotty?
Yes, I do.
And so he's going to build a green for him. So let's jump into apologies. I'm going to start. I got one that's never happened to me before, Scott. I've figured it out. I played 18 years of Pro-Ams.
Yep.
And this is, I've never heard of it and I've never seen it. I am sure it's happened to others, but it happened to me. So my apology is to Josh Weaver and the LeSueur members. On Friday morning, we're scheduled to play the LeSueur Pro-Am. 7:30 a.m. is our tee time. So we get there at 6:45. We start warming up. Me and two Olivia members, and we're going to meet two young guys from Cuyuna Country Club that we played with last year. We played with their dad also, but he couldn't make it. He's had shoulder issues. So he couldn't play. So we had this going on. So 7:15 rolls around. I don't see the Turk boys. 7:20, we got nothing. Panic starting to set in. I'm starting to get really nervous. I try call Dad because I don't have the boy's number. Can't get a hold of Dad. So I go in and talk to Weaver. Hey, we got a problem. We don't know what to do. Something might have happened. We're not sure. Well, can you call him? I'm like, well, yes and no. Finally, 7:35 rolls around. We're past our tee time. We told Weaver, we'll see. Maybe we can get in somewhere later. We get past our tee time, and finally I get a hold of Dad. He texts me, and he says, the boys hit a deer near Malacca. They're not going to make it. First time ever, Scotty. And so we called some Olivia members. Hey, can you guys get over here in an hour and a half? Because I had evening responsibilities, so I couldn't play. The boys are fine, by the way. The car is messed up, but the boys are fine. But my apology is that we messed up that. I know what that does to the purse, Scott. It's kind of messed up when you plan on 41 teams and all of a sudden you have 40, you kind of mess that stuff up. And so first time that's ever happened, buddy. Can you believe that?
No. I'm trying to think if I've ever had an instance where we've had anybody, last year, I think the closest thing that came to mind for me is last year, the night before Austin, one of the guys on my team called me and said, hey, I have COVID. I can't play. So you're kind of scrambling, but we've all had those last minute shuffles, but never has that happened. I mean, one time I remember Jack Warrow and I meet up sometimes and travel together. we met up in Clearwater to go to the Delwood Pro-Am, and we hit standstill traffic. And if we would have stayed on the route, it said we were going to be there 15 minutes after the start. So Jack and I weave through like Ramsey there and end up getting like 5 minutes there before the tee time. And yeah, that's about the closest.
So we ended up just bagging it. We went over to Huffy, kind of set us up for a tee time over at New Ulm. I felt terrible for it because one of the members, Scotty, that I'm with, that's his only Pro-Am he plays with me.
Oh, man. So you can't squeeze him into another one?
I'm going to try, but you know how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty much the schedule's lined up. And yes, well, if we have any issues or anything that somebody drops out, he's going to be my first call, right? But you know how schedules go on. You must have a lot going on in that room.
Oh, yeah. I hear people over my shoulder, players checking in back behind me going to.
Well, maybe you can bring one in for an interview if you need to.
Yeah, if I see somebody, I'll get them
wave
over
them
here.
in?
Yeah.
All right. So, Scotty, what do you got for an apology? Anything?
No, I'll apologize. Since I rode with Casey, I did not get to listen to the show from last time. I usually like to listen to it. I mean, I remember everything we talked about. I thought maybe I thought maybe you would apologize because you tried to withhold my team skin money from the KWLM Pro-Am.
Oh, that's another story. Yes. I do apologize to you, Scotty. I did not mean to not give you guys your glory, but you did finish second in the event as a team. And then you just won the LeSueur Pro-Am. You are on fire right now.
Yeah, we, I will say that KWLM, you kind of gave me a pretty good Mike Grimm, who voice of the Gophers, and, football and basketball. I'm a Gopher grad, so that was a lot of fun playing with him. He doesn't play a ton of tournament golf where he plays his own ball, so he got a ton of shots. And I think he made 4 pars, which were net eagles, all of them, because I think he had 33 shots. So that was very huge that day and helped us out a ton. And in the one gross, one net, which is never easy to really go low on. But if you get 8 shots right there, that's huge. And then, we played great up at Grandview, my team. Tony Janou played awesome. We finished 3rd there. And then LeSueur, I was trying to think. I think I won Faribault last year, the hometown crew, and then LeSueur. If I win one Pro-Am a year, I'm ecstatic because there's years where I'll go 2 or 3 and not win one. So that was fun at LeSueur. Never went backwards. Came out of the gates 13 under through 4 holes, and just kind of kept it going.
And you're playing very well right now. It was probably fortunate for me to have to WD. You wanted to try to get a forfeit for our little match between the two of us, our season-long Club Pro Chatter match. And where is the standing? Now, we're not doing forfeits, Scotty. That's not how that works, all right? That was out of my control. I probably wasn't going to shoot 68 because I don't really go that low. But what is it, 2-1 Greg Snow right now?
No, it's 2-2 because I beat you at Grandview. Sorry, since we're on location, we don't have the scoreboard behind us.
Right.
But it is currently 2-2. And today, head-to-head in the same pairing.
Head-to-head to break the tie, but the season is long, Scotty. We got a lot of games ahead of us. And as you know, the Pro-Am season is just kind of getting going. Once we hit after the 4th, we kind of get lined up for a few, although I'm not playing Edinburgh this year. There's a few that I won't be playing. And are you playing in the Classic up at Madden's?
I am playing in the Classic. I missed that one last year, the Classic. Any of the Brainerd courses, it just feels like a vacation to get away. So we're going to be there. I don't know who the team is, but I'll be there for that. And honestly, we've got Luther 2 today, Head Pro Championship. How about this? 2 past winners of the Head Pro Championship on this podcast.
That's right. I won at TPC of Blaine.
Beat Don Barry, one of the few times.
My brother.
Yep.
Remember when Mike Snow and I and Brisky was the 3-way tie for the win? I'm still counting it. So, because I don't have many wins, Scotty, but it's fun to compete. So state of the section, Kaylee's not with us. You're taking over, Scotty, a state of the section kind of, you played in some things now. You're an ambassador for the section, secretary. You need to do a lot of these things. And so start us off. Tell us where you want to go with state of the section items.
Yeah, we can jump into Tapemark. We've got a segment for that. But the big thing, that's happened, the section staff's busy. Once we hit June, after the first week of June, junior golf starts firing up. The high school season's wrapped up. Carla, I'm sure she's just going nonstop. So junior events off the charts. Then we've also got all of our state open qualifiers. I think, is there 8 of them?
Yeah, Tone said he's got 1 left and then the second chance.
Yeah, last one at the old Cannon Golf Club, which there used to be an event down there way back when. So Tone's busy with that. And then, drive, chip, and putts are starting in this week. Very busy for the junior events. Today they're at the Royal Junior Boys. Next Monday, Tuesday, they're at Bent Creek Junior Girls. And they've got the 12 and under championship Wednesday at Applewood. And then the Wisconsin Minnesota Cup matches are at Rush Creek. So it's similar to like our PGA Cup matches, Greg. Wisconsin Junior Best Juniors versus Minnesota Best Juniors at Rush Creek. So busy week for juniors, but 100 holes. I had to suffer with Foley again since you stood both Foley and I up. There's room for a third, but we had a great time. I will tell you, it's the hottest 100 holes we've had, and it was the firmest 100 holes we've had.
You've been saying this in a lot of events, Scotty.
Yes.
Everything's crispy.
Yeah, it is crispy out there. It's unbelievable. This is, 1988, that year, it was like the hottest year ever. Oh, you got a bride coming in?
Yeah, a lady coming in. Yeah, I'm in the wedding suite, but she just apologized. She knows we have this room.
So it's been firm everywhere we've played. It's been crazy. About the only tournament we played that's kind of got a little bit of a reprieve was Grandview, because we had a lot of rain at the Preserve on Sunday.
That's right.
So the Preserve was a little bit softer, and the Pines, I thought both were in great shape. Pines, maybe the best I've seen it. But 100 holes was firm and fast. You hit it in some places. You could get close to some of those drivable par 4s. But Foley and I buzzed around, I think, right around 7 hours last year. I think we were under 7. But the big news is we raised over $60,000 at that event. We've got some great partnerships with Treasure Island and the Click Foundation, kind of our 2 main sponsors of that event. And we had, I think, more participants than ever. And it's just, as you know, it's a really rewarding event. You kind of get out there, it's early, and you're like, 100 holes. But then you get into the thick of it and you really buy in, and you see all the flags out there and you see the vets playing. It's just a fun event to be a part of. And I've done it every year now. And each year when I'm driving down, because it's such a haul to Mount Frontenac, like, this is a long day, and the next day is long. But then when I'm driving home, I'm just like, it's worth it. I'm doing it again next year. We have just a blast. So, it was a great event, and Frontenac, great host again. Treasure Island was not kind on the tables, but it was still fun to see everybody.
Oh, Scotty, we can't go there because people have no idea the amount of money you like to drop. You're like Charles Barkley.
No, there's always a budget. Always a budget.
As long as you stay within that budget, that's good stuff. So,
yes.
100 holes. I'm glad you played, and you, I apologize for that already.
Yeah.
I'm not double apologize. We don't have a segment for double apologies.
No, you don't need to double apologize. Okay, by the way, you donated for my birdies, which, what did I get? 26?
Less than that. My bill was under $100.
Yeah, $73, $3 a birdie. So 26, was it 70?
78.
Yeah,
You're
$78.
Right.
Yep.
Well, you had 20. You had 24 birdies and an eagle, right?
Yeah. So eagles count as double.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's right. So we have to get that. Tell us about your eagle.
Eagle was great. On number 18, your favorite hole. I hit it up the left, that par 5 up the hill, and I just bombed one, and then hit 9-iron onto the green pin high. Yeah, that's how firm it was, 9-iron. And I was pin high, and Colin Hoffman's like, what's your guys' tally? I go, wait a minute. I rolled it in for eagle. I go, I'm at like 18 birdies and an eagle. And we were, 3/4 of the way done by that point. But no, it was awesome. Ian Leonard was out there on site again with, we had some kids come out, get some free putting lessons on 18 green. Fox 9 was out there. It was a lot of fun. Last year kind of just was so small because of COVID. We still had the event, but just not the same feel. And now it's been great to get it back to where it was.
That's good to hear. I'm glad that you guys were able to get that in, and that is a nice chunk of change. Scotty, do we, I know in the section we've talked a little bit about this, but that is going primarily to veterans and veterans golf. Is that correct?
Yeah, it all stays in that. Previous years, it would all stay in that Hope bucket, but we're at, I think, 12 Hope chapters now. So we've got such a stockpile of funds that if people wanted to open or start another Hope chapter, there's money there. There's free money out there between those, the George Waters, the license plate, and if you have a Hope chapter, there's funding from PGA National and from our section. So, but this year, a portion of those funds too just go into PGA Reach Minnesota as well.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right, let's move on to Tapemark. So you'd mentioned it earlier. Grim and you played together, and Grim does mainly football and basketball. But as I interview him a few times, Scotty, on our Todd and Friends podcast for the radio station that I deal with in Wilmer that I work with. And so I asked him, I said, Grim, do you have to do other sports like baseball, softball? And he kind of looked at me like, yeah, sometimes. And I go, oh, so it's duties as assigned, right? And he goes, yep, duties as assigned. So Angus Flanagan was one guy that he's interviewed a few times. And I hit him up a couple times on this. I go, what's this kid like? And he goes, he was the most unrecruited player out there, probably. I mean, or under-recruited. No D1s were offering him. Finally, he visited Minnesota, and he visited at the right time. It was in the middle of the summer. It just so happened that it was like, oh, this is good. And the Gophers offered him. And the reason I mention all this is because he has turned professional, and he played in the Tapemark. And you said on our podcast before, you said, just write him the check. So what do you know about Angus that everybody else maybe doesn't that made you say that?
Well, if in Minnesota, we follow, Minnesota golf, especially myself as an alum pretty closely. And I know Justin Smith and Matt Raichie pretty well. And, I've always followed the program, and Angus has been their top player the last 2-3 years. Kind of as a freshman, he kind of burst onto the scene, had some high places, and you're like, okay, this kid can be good. And now he's made it. I think he's played in the event out Riviera. They do this deal where some college kids can they invite them and they kind of play in the event. And Angus played in it, and Justin Smith actually caddied for him in it. And Angus missed the cut, but so he plays in a tour event. He wins our state open last year. I think he wins our golf champions last year. He's wins a couple of big college events, and then he plays in the Walker Cup. The Walker Cup, people who don't know, it's the Ryder Cup for AMs, Great Britain and Ireland versus the U.S. And he played. He's from the UK, and so he played on their team and played well there. So I mean, all those things. And you look at it this way too. He's coming right off of golf season, where he is a student and mainly just focusing on golf. And they're playing 7,300-yard golf courses, tough golf courses, and he's shooting 5-6 under on those courses. You go to the Tapemark, which is, as we both know, Southview stretched out can't even get 6,600 yards, and they play it short for the event. It's going to feel like a pitch and putt for him. And clearly, when he beats all of our section members and everybody else in the field by 10 shots, it was a pitch and putt.
You know, what's funny about, let me interject something, then get back to Scotty. You know, Brady Madsen, he plays for Florida Gulf Coast. And in our Pro-Am at KWLM, it's the same deal, 6,300 yards. If you stretch it out, and he triple bogeys his second or third hole of the day to go to 2 over. Next time I looked at this card, he was 5 under.
Yeah.
And so these guys who played this D1 7,300 yard golf courses, they just sit back and they go, it's fine. I'm going to have wedge after wedge after wedge, and I'm going to make some 6-footers to 10-footers. It's just going to happen. So that's to your point about Angus. Keep going. Sorry.
So Angus wins. I mean, he kind of came out, and I think he was leading after the first day. I'm just double checking. But he played the par 5s, 13 under. So that's 12 par 5s, Greg, 13 under. You do the math.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
I know they're not long, but still, like that one par 5 was Jack Worrell's demise. The 9.
Oh, yeah, number 6 or number 4. Yeah, he hit it in the water, or he hit it in the bunker, then kind of went all over. But, yeah, Angus, I'd have to look, but I think he had 1 eagle, 2 eagles, 3 eagles.
So he did par
4 eagles. He four eagles.
Well, 17 and 18. How short was 17 playing?
17's about 490, 500 max.
So it wasn't that back tee then?
No, it's not the back tee on 17. It's not the back tee on 4.
Okay.
18 and 6 play about their length.
Did you find it hard to get home in 2 on 18?
No, you just got to hit it in the fairway.
Okay.
I mean, 18
right, it goes in those trees.
But here's the thing. If you go right in those trees anymore, there is fescue over there. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Let's make it harder?
Yeah. Yeah.
An OB tight left.
Yes. So the bailout spot where you used to go in the trees, right? I think Phil Anderson said that the fescue is like 5 or 10 paces off the fairway on 18.
So were there Lost Ball Central in there?
Yeah. I mean, you could find them, but you had to search, and it's not like fescue, playable fescue. It's just long grass. They're kind of it's a trial. So it's
wispy?
It is not wispy. It grabs.
Oh, okay. Because we know the difference at some of these links courses between a wispy fescue and the thick, can't get the ball out 9-iron is way too much lob or way too flat of a face. You need more.
That's the thick. You can't even get it out.
Okay.
I play with some guys with some pretty high club head speed, the Matthews brothers.
Yeah.
One of them was in the fescue, 1 foot. Josh, world long drive, made it there 7 years in a row. He tries to hit it out with a wedge, and it goes 2 feet. That's how thick it is.
You stayed out of it all 3 days?
I got in it once and got a good lie.
Oh.
But then made double on the hole because whatever. So, but, I was happy I made the cut. It's always a tough cut to make. Our team played well. But, yeah, just kind of looking at our section guys, other than Angus, we had some great usually there's quite a few mini tour players up there. But after Angus, we had Chili at 5 under. Chili played great on Sunday, shot 6 under, got solo second. Good for him. Jesse Nelson, our buddy, and Derek Stendal, who's been playing great, got to 4 under. They finished tied for third. Barry and Snyder were at 1 under. They tied for 5th. Campbell Thomas, who's also been playing well, just recently a new father. Sometimes that hurts your golf game. Sometimes it helps you, kind of get you a little bit of perspective. But Campbell at 7. And then, so that's the top 7. Those are all section guys.
That's a really good showing. And I know, Scotty, you had said that you want to see one of our section guys win it. Angus isn't going to be that because he's going to be chasing the tours for a little while, and he should. And so it's okay. Other than that, we did really well.
Yeah, no, we did. And then just highlighting on the team side, we have a defending champion, the team of Savannah Smith, Cindy Irwin, Janelle Darling, and Terry Boutin. I believe they won it last year, won it again. So team of all ladies, defending champs, now looking for the three-peat next year.
Oh, nice.
They shot 58 under. Don Barry's team, Angus Flanagan's team won back at 57 under. So
Scotty, we filled up, right? We had all 50 teams that we wanted for your 50.
I think we actually got to 51 teams.
Oh, we snuck one more in there.
Yep.
Every pro-am tries to do that. It fattens the purse a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Different. And the pace of play is what it is. At those, you just got to be braced in for a 5.5 hour, 6 hour deal. Correct?
Yes. Yeah. Southview's a short golf course, as we talked. All the par fives are reachable. There's some par fours you can get close to too. So you're waiting a lot, and with that many people and those reachable par fives, it's just, as you and I talked, reachable par fives and drivable par fours are fun, but they're just pace of play. They slow things down.
Yep, they do. And that's the thing. So you got to accept it. Scotty, I played with a guy not too long ago that I said, oh man, pro-ams are 5.5. He goes, I have no problem with that. I looked at him. I did he goes, I get to hang with my friends and I'm playing golf. He goes, what's the big deal? And I'm like, I maybe need to look at it that way a little bit better, because you're right. I know we all seem like we're crunched for time, but some of these people, especially the dollar that people play to some of these, Scott, they want to have a fun time with and I know everybody sees it differently, right? Some people want to see it in 4 hours, whatever, but at Southview, there's nothing you can do. The course is set up for birdies, but also trouble with that. A lot of those drivable par fours or short par fives, you can get into some trouble too, but it's for more fun. And I think that's the big thing with golf. So anything else you need to add for the Tapemark, Scotty?
No, I just think the section team did a great job. I thought the event was awesome. I know my friend that sponsors the team that I play on every year after we're done and we're sitting in afterwards having a beverage, after 3 days of grinding, at least the last two since he sponsored, he's like, so we're in for next year, right? Already it's 365 days away, but he's like ready to go again. So the people that play in it really appreciate it. And it's a fun event. And I love playing Southview. It's like you said, it's short, it's tight, but if you shoot 2 under in the event as a pro over 3 rounds, you're in the top 5.
Right.
So,
right. Which you were hovering at cut line, but cut line moved for you.
That was I was happy about that.
It's funny, Scott. A lot of us, we've never experienced what a cut line, that because our section championship's only 2 days, we don't know what a cut line feels like. We look at where's last place money. That's our cut line for many of us, but it's a whole nother day of golf for you. Your team was doing well, so you were going to play anyways, right?
Yes, but it is not fun when your team makes the cut and you don't, and you could shoot 62 that day and not be in the pro money. Yes.
Right.
So it was, I've dabbled. I will say the Tapemark cut and the Golf Champions cut are the 2 toughest cuts to make because they're small fields. It's a small, I think it's top 20 in ties out of 51 at Southview, and Golf Champions, it's very similar.
Right.
And I've been on the wrong side of it. I've been on the good side of it. Ideally, you're playing well enough that you're not even thinking about the cut, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way.
And it's a fine line. You were only 2 over par. It's not like you were playing horrible golf.
No. And that's when I made the cut at 2, I looked at it, and if I shoot, Chili was 1 over. He was 1 in front of me, and he finished second. If I have a great day, I'm right up there too. So it was, other than Angus, it would have been a hell of an event.
Right.
Seriously, it was super tightly bunched.
And sometimes you got to view it that way. You know, that's what happened at the ladies PGA yesterday. There was a 2-player race for first, and then everybody else was playing for third.
Yeah.
And that's what they, you know, our girl, remember Patty Tabatabatakit?
Yeah, that you couldn't say her name. Yeah.
I still can't. Tabatabatakit. But anyways, she was leading for third place, and they had to show her because they couldn't just show Corda and Salas the whole time. They had to show some other shots. So there is some of those tournaments within tournaments. And that can happen. All right, Scotty, we got to move on because we got a lot going on with US Open.
Yep.
I want to start with our predictions. We decided this week this time that we would do, and we didn't have Tone, that we would do just 5 picks and then whoever had the winner. And Scotty, you fell into the wind because John Rahm was your 4th pick. You know, not all of us had a chance to get him, so it was our own fault. But you picked Rahm. He was the winner. You also had Xander, who played pretty good. Dustin Johnson actually kind of showed up. He was up there. And my closest was Morikawa, who was kind of hanging in there all day. But none of us had Oosthuizen.
Yeah.
So you would have won pretty much no matter what on all that. So, yes, you have now shorted up. It's now Greg 2, Scott 1, Kaylee 0, and Tone, you know, and he can't be with us today either because he's getting so busy. So, Scotty, a lot of people maybe do or don't know this, but back in March, you and I took a road trip with some of our buddies. We call it the Northern Chapter Open. And we had a chance to play Torrey Pines South. And I would say that when you're out there, the only reason why it's extra special is because of the event. Yes, it's got good views and good thing, but otherwise, it's Hazeltine without the cliffs. You know, in my mind. And I really enjoy, every shot that I had, the guys I was playing with, Scotty, were like, how do you know that? You know, that falls away or that goes in. I go, because the Farmers Open's been here for 30 years and I've watched every event here. That's how we know these things. And I found it super fun to play. I actually played pretty well and eagled number 9. That was a highlight for me.
I was with you. Don't you remember?
Were we in the same group?
Yeah, you hit that 4-wood or 5-wood on 9, and I'm like, where's Greg? Oh, he's 60 yards right of the fairway, and then all of a sudden I see a ball like this far away on 9.
How did I forget that? No, it wasn't that close. I had to make a putt. Hey, how did I forget that we were paired together that morning?
Because you're almost 50 and you're forgetting things.
I am.
You forgot Brad Cole's name the other day.
I did. I called him Scott Cole 3 times. 3 times. I even told people at my golf club the story that I was yelling at him. That's a whole nother topic. Let's go back to our rounds, and then we're going to talk about U.S. Open. What do you remember most about your round out there at Torrey Pines?
So I remember I've watched a lot of the Farmers, but here's what I'll tell you. I only remember the back 9 at Torrey from watching the event. So here's what I remember. I remember you eagling 9. I remember all the holes. But I remember you eagling 9 and I missed a birdie, or I think I birdied 9 to shoot 1 over on the front. And I looked at you and I'm like, oh, I'm excited to play that US Open course in the afternoon. And you're like, no, this is the US Open course. I'm like, oh, this isn't that tough. And then you go and it's like 10s, 10's kind of tricky. And then 11 and 12, which I went par on 11 and 12. And watching the US Open, I didn't realize how tough those holes were when we played it. And then 13, I bogeyed 13 and I was in a perfect spot, but it was that back right pin, remember?
Yep.
Which it's tough they played it and it's tough to get to that. So, and then I think I made a 6 or a 7 on 17 because I hit it in the bunker. Because everybody wants to avoid the trouble left.
6. Yes. You made a 6.
And then we had the Tiger pin, the final round pin on 18. But none of us, I don't think anybody made a birdie, right?
I 3-whipped it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you were medalist. Is that correct?
I think I shot 77. Yeah. But we weren't all the way back. We were probably 7,000?
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody is that, like, on hole number 10, we had driver sand wedge. If you hit a good drive, and I was hitting the driver very well that day. But then when you stand on that tee, you can turn around and see 3 more tee boxes.
Yes.
That those guys played. And what we didn't know, Scotty, is that number 9 goes away from the clubhouse. Number 10 starts way out past the hospital. And you never would know that unless you're out there.
Yeah.
That you're going an entirely opposite. You don't go 9 back. And you guys got to play the North course, which was marketably easier, would you say?
Yeah, I think I shot 1 under at the North course.
And all the scores were really good.
Yeah, it's just it's a little bit more open. It's not as difficult around the greens, but still visually just a great golf course.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun out there. So let's talk about Jon Rahm. Were you cheering? Now, you probably didn't remember that you picked him, but because of all the stuff that happened to him at Memorial, did you find yourself cheering for him, Scott, or were you kind of an Usti guy?
I feel like this is redemption for Jon Rahm. This is, they kind of took the Memorial win that he should have had. He had a 6-shot lead. He would have had to shoot 79 to win. It's like, so everything worked out. If you ask Jon Rahm right now, would you rather have won the Memorial and then had a high place at the U.S. Open? He would have said, heck no. Give me the U.S. Open win. Keep the 1.6 from the Memorial, and right. I'm a major championship winner. So it all worked out well. I was for sure cheering for him. He's a great player. I think, if you ask me right now, who do you think's going to win more majors between Rahm and DeChambeau? They're 1-1 right now. I'm picking Rahm because I feel like his game, he's just got a more rounded game, I think, and he's way more consistent. Bryson has those weeks where he's down the lead. Jon Rahm seems almost like a better version of Matt Kuchar where he's always in the top 10.
You nailed it. His game is way more solid than DeChambeau. Yeah, DeChambeau may overpower you and just win on sheer distance a couple weeks, but Rahm doesn't have to do that. Look at those 2 snakes he made on 17 and 18.
He's a great putter.
Snakes.
Yeah.
Left to righters, Scotty, and as a right-handed putter, nobody likes those.
No.
I don't care how good of a putter you are. And he stood up and he poured them both right in the heart. And, when you saw the one going on 17, I didn't even think Louis had to hit his in the hazard for it to happen. I was like, well, that's it. I mean, that was such a huge putt there.
Yes.
And the fact that he went birdie and just basically won the championship, didn't have it handed to him. I found myself cheering for him a little bit, Bud.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
No, he's kind of especially a couple of years ago, he was the hot guy on tour and runs a little hot. Clearly, he still does.
Anger. He had anger.
He has anger issues, like breaking things.
Maybe
yeah. But there's another guy. They just had a kid right before the Masters, remember? Talking about it with Campbell. Perspective. All of a sudden, you maybe are like, does it really make that big of a deal? And maybe that just grounded him enough. He's been playing great. He played great the finish of the Masters. Remember, he was down, way down. They had just had the kid. I had him at the Masters, and he was my pick, and he kind of backdoored to like a top 5. I think he finished 3rd or 4th. And then, just solid all year long. Now he's got to win.
You hit something there that I think down the road in one of these podcasts I want to talk about, and that's mental health. The fact that we're hearing a lot about this, Bubba Watson coming out and saying it. And I think a lot of these guys they're helping their mental health with golf by gaining perspective.
Yes.
And you nailed that, of the fact that even Bubba played great. I don't even know. No, he didn't win. He wasn't in the playoff, but because there was 7-hole playoff at the Travelers yesterday.
Anyway, I thought it was 8.
It might have been 8.
Yeah.
Almost in the dark. Point being is that they don't live and die the golf shots anymore. Not that they love golf any less, but they also realize that at the end of the day, it's okay if I miss-hit a golf shot and don't win a tournament because of it. I'm going to get another chance next week if they want. That's really the bottom line. So I think that's a big topic and huge for a lot of us. You have said that about your golf game, that you had just figured something out mentally, into what transformed you from an also-ran player into somebody that can compete with people. And it's not that you're focusing any harder or more on golf. It's that your perspective of life and maybe each shot is better. You want to touch on it a little bit, or?
Well, I'll just say that it's always a work in progress, because I will tell you that after the Preserve on Sunday, I shot 79. It was pouring rain. That was the final round of the U.S. Open. we do need to hit on Bryson after this and how he collapsed there. But
we're going to have to hit that another time. We're running out of time.
Okay.
Here.
So, but after the preserve, and then I come out and played decent on the front 9 at the Pines, and then kind of lost it in the middle. And I'm coming up 9, and I'm just like, what am I doing? I'm getting negative. I'm not fun to be around. So something switched. I told you I made a little prayer, and things got better, and I made 6 birdies on the back, and our team jumped up the leaderboard and finished 3rd. So it's not like it's easy all the time. You always got to be working on it, because the golf course is going to give you a gut punch after a gut punch after a gut punch. One of those days where you're behind a tree or you're blocked, you get a buried lie, 3 lip outs in a row. And if you've got the right attitude, you just roll with it. But if you got the wrong, it could just bury you. And all of a sudden, if you grind it out, you might shoot 72. If not, you're going the other way and you shoot 82. So it's perspective's everything.
Yeah, really good take. And we'll hit that maybe harder down the road. All right. Last thing we got before we go, Scotty, have you looked at the leaderboard for today yet?
Oh, no, I haven't yet.
Look, don't do it.
Okay.
Don't, not yet. Okay, here's your and I, because the British Open we might have another podcast before the British. So today's prediction segment is going to be the Luther Pro Series, and we're going to go only off, not the Head Pro Championship or the assistants, just off Luther, and you cannot pick yourself or me. Okay? So we're going to go by total money here. Total money. You cannot pick yourself. You cannot pick me. I'm going to give you first pick. Fire away.
I'm going to pick somebody that finished, I think, second to me last year in this event and has been playing great. Jack Hemans.
Okay, Jimenez. Jack. Okay, so I get the next 2 picks. I'm going to go with Roland.
Okay.
And the hot hand Campbell.
Okay.
Okay, you get the next 2.
I'm going to go Chili.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
Playing well. And I'm also going to pick another hot hand who played well at LeSueur, shot 67. And this is a great format for him because he makes eagles. Eddie Wynn.
Wynn. Oh, he played great. You're right. All right, and I'm going to just stay solid and go with Sorenson or Barry. I'm going to
go Snyder? No reigning player of the year?
I'm going Sorenson.
Okay, Sorney played great, 67 at LeSueur.
You didn't pick Snyder either, your buddy.
I'll say this because I don't think he ever listens to our podcast. Brent is great in stroke play, but he doesn't. I mean, although he's up there a lot, he doesn't make a ton of eagles, and you got to make a ton of birdies in this format. So
it'll be fine.
He will be in the top 5. I guarantee it. But you got to get on a roll.
But you're right. But the winner check might be more than if you get the 5th and 6th place guy. So, okay, we'll have fun recapping that later. Hopefully you or I will be up there. If we can maybe get some momentum going in the group today with Andy Smith.
How do you, is this a handicap that Andy has to play with us, or does it help him?
This is no lie. Andy Smith and I have played in this event 4 times together. This event. And we did not set this up. That's just how it happened to be. So, hey, Club Pro, this has been Club Pro Chatter Season 4, Episode 6. That's Scott McDonald, who's playing awesome right now. And I'm going to try to get you today to go down or to go up 3-2.
One more thing. Have we ever played in a competitive event together?
Never.
This is the first time?
So it's going to be a lot of fun today. I'm looking forward to it, buddy. Scott McDonald, Greg Snow, thank you all for listening. Have a great day, everybody.